The criminal justice system. You may be wondering, how does it work? The goal of our criminal justice system is to support victims and to create justice. According to Law Shelved on YouTube, criminal law is split into 5 different sections: retribution, deterrence, incapacitation, rehabilitation, and restitution. The first section is retribution, which is the act of taking revenge, or in other words, in this case, it's a punishment forced upon one for committing a crime. This is the justice that families need. Retribution can result in charges on criminals that lead to convictions. These convictions can then result in things such as the death penalty. The next step is deterrence. This is the idea that crime can be prevented if people are scared of the consequences. Imagine you are going 10 miles per hour over the speed limit and you get pulled over. You would obviously receive a ticket and go on your way, but the next time you drive again, you're going to go the speed limit because you're scared to get another ticket. This is an example of deterrence. Incapacitation is similar, but it's the act of removing criminals altogether from society, usually resulting in them being locked up in jail or prison. Probation is also incapacitation because it prevents or makes it more difficult for them to commit another crime. An example of incapacitation is if somebody robbed a gas station, they would go to jail, preventing them from ever robbing a gas station again. Next up is rehabilitation, which is one of the most important sections of our criminal justice system. While criminals are in jail, they need some type of treatment to help them get better and hopefully refrain from committing any crimes again. It's possible that the prison can offer them things such as counseling or drug and alcohol treatment. Usually people who are sent to prison for doing drugs struggle with drug addiction. Drug and alcohol treatment will teach them ways to stay sober, and hopefully, when they get out of prison, they won't struggle with it as much anymore. Restitution is the payment the criminals pay to the victim to compensate for the injuries or damage that the criminal caused. If someone was being convicted of stealing from a store such as King Soopers or Target, the court would order them to repay what they had stolen. This is an example of restitution. Now that we've gone over exactly what the criminal justice system is supposed to be, we need to talk about what it actually is. Here is a 15-second clip from Netflix's documentary called Making a Murder. It was about a man named Steven Avery who was falsely accused of hurting a woman. He spent 18 years in prison for something that he didn't actually do.
In fact, the sheriff was told by the police, "You have the wrong guy."
Steven Avery spent 18 years in prison for something he didn't do.
18 years.
18 years. DNA had come through indicating that he had not committed the crime.
Law enforcement officers realized that they had screwed up big time.
Now imagine that you were accused of something that you never did and you had to sit in prison for a 30-year life. Steven Avery isn't the only person that this has happened to. Multiple people have sadly gotten the death penalty while having extremely strong evidence that they're actually innocent. Some names include Carlos de Luna, Ruben Cantu, Larry Griffin, David Spence, and so many more. Our criminal justice system is not only killing people who do not deserve it, but is also not giving our victims justice. How do we fix this? In order to rebuild our criminal justice system, we need to go back to the 5 different sections we talked about earlier and fix each step. The first step was retribution. In order to fix this, we need to make sure people are being charged correctly. The second section was deterrence, and we need to make sure people are following the laws. Next was incapacitation. In order to fix this, we need to make sure criminals are put in jail for a fair amount of time, not too long and not too little. Then we had restitution, which is the step we need to fix the most. Criminals aren't getting the help they need in prison, which will result in them leaving without changing. We need to get them therapy and treatments to help them. Last is restitution. We can fix this by making sure criminals pay what's due to the victims.